Good evening, everybody.
Hello and welcome.
Welcome to another episode of Critique Corner with me, Daniel Parker.
And me, DB Fastbinder. And if you're out there, give us a like, give us a sub, all those YouTube things that we always forget about that until the end of the show.
Yes, and we've already got a couple people in here. Will from Creators Outlet, good to see you, man. And hey, D Rhino, always good to see you.
Hey, D
Uh,
Rhino. He very nicely reviewed my book. I didn't have a chance to watch all of it because work has been nonsense lately, but
mhm.
I'll get around to it.
Yeah. I gotta watch that too. Gotta watch that too, and I gotta read his new. I still gotta read his new installment, his new short story that he posted the other day. But yeah, welcome as always. If you are new here, what we always do is we start off with our thing of the week, and then we talk box office for a little bit, and then get into our topics. And
Yes, indeed. And this week, two very different movies in our things of the week.
yes, yeah, very very different. So my thing of the week. Uh, I went severely out of my comfort zone with this one. Um, Most of you probably have heard of it. If you haven't, this is one of David Lynch's movies, Mulholland Drive. Came out in 2001.
I thought it was
Uh,
older than that for some reason.
yeah, well, here's the thing with this. I did a little homework on it. It was originally filmed as a pilot for a TV show
Hmm.
back in 1999, and the pilot it didn't get picked up, but the Studio Canal, which is a French film production company, they went to Lynch, or Lynch went to them. They gave him some cash to turn it into a feature film, and so he gussied it up and filmed some additional scenes to tie up the storyline. Um, you know,
hmm
whatever storyline you can make out of it. um, but yeah, David Lynch is not my cup of tea, and after or at least he didn't strike me as being my cup of tea. I The only other my only other experience with David Lynch was his adaptation of Dune,
Mm.
which I don't really know if you can count that because it wasn't one of his own stories, and I know he didn't have a whole lot of creative control on that movie, especially the final edit. Um,
Well, we know that at one point he was supposed to direct the Return of the Jedi, so did we dodge a blaster bolt there?
I think we did. I guess it depends on who you ask. I think they did, but some people might disagree. But because I mean, I know David Lynch has his fans, and I know there are people who like his movies. I mean, he's a bit like Hideo Kojima.
hmm
It's
Okay.
like, yeah, I mean, you either like him, or you either like his stuff or you don't like his stuff. And I probably fall into the latter category with David Lynch. Um, so, but anyway, I'll try to explain this movie as best I can. And spoilers, because I can't talk about this movie without spoilers. Um, the movie is about follows Naomi Watts's character.
hmm
Uh, Her name is Diane Selwyn, and she's this up and coming actress, and but she's kind of struggling to get parts. And the only way that she can get any parts in movies is because of her girlfriend, Camila Rhodes.
Okay.
Uh, and I can't remember the name of the actress who plays Camilla Rhodes, but so Camilla Rhodes is kind of the character is basically one of these, like, oh yeah, D. Ryan's Death Stranding should have been a show. Yeah. Excuse me. So uh, she's kind of one of these actresses who likes to sleep her way to the top, or
Mm.
she sleeps her way to the top in order to get
Whether she
film
likes
roles.
it or not.
Yeah, yeah. But then she gets into a relationship with the director of the movie that they're working on, and the director and the I can't remember the actor's name, but the way he looks in the movie, he reminds me of J.J. Abrams.
Oh,
Of course, this was before anybody knew who J.J. Abrams was. I mean, when this
right.
movie came out. But and so of course she gets really jealous, and Naomi Watts gets really jealous, and she ends up putting a hit out on her girlfriend, this low grade hitman, and then she goes into this like drug induced hallucination, and
Uh,
then
there's your David Lynch bingo card.
yep. So she goes into this hallucination where she actually imagines she's a different woman named Betsy, or Betty. Sorry, Betty.
What?
Yeah, Betty. And I'm convinced that the Lynch got the name Betty, and then Camilla is actually she goes by Rita because she sees a poster with a movie with Rita Hayworth, and and I'm convinced Betty is because of Betty Grable, because I found in my little research of David Lynch, I know he's a great lover of golden age Hollywood. And the fantasy kind of plays out like a golden age Hollywood movie, especially like Naomi Watts, the way she plays the characters, kind of this. She's this small town girl from Canada, and she's kind of has this aw shucks feel like, oh, I'm in Hollywood, I'm gonna make it big, and and then Camilla, uh, who or Rita, or I should say Rita. I mean, she uh, is about to be bumped off, and because she's in the back of a limo, she's about to get bumped off. But then the limo gets hit with a car head on with a car on Mulholland Drive. And for those of you who don't know, Mulholland Drive is a very famous street in Hollywood, LA. A lot of celebrities live on have lived and currently live on Mulholland Drive. Um, and she gets in this wreck. She's unscathed except for a head injury. So she has a head injury. Guess what's wrong with her?
Amnesia.
Yeah, yeah. So, and
Ah, the writer's best friend.
yes. So then she ends up in the house or the apartment where Naomi Watts is staying, Betty, and of course, and the apartment's owned by Betty's aunt, who's a Hollywood actress, and uh, then she's staying there while her aunt's filming a movie, and so they're trying to figure out like the mystery of who she is and all this other stuff, and the whole fantasy plays out. Basically, the fantasy is playing out because Diane, the other Naomi Watts, is guilty for putting the hit out on her former girlfriend, and then there's this whole weird, just a lot of weird stuff happens in this movie. It's just, I mean, it's Dave. Like I said, I mentioned this to DB before the show. David Lynch's brand of weird is a little too weird for me. It's just, I mean, he can. I mean, there's a story structure there, and it's I mean, he can tell a story,
Mhm.
but he throws in all this weird. And to me, I mean, I know to him it makes sense, but to me, it's like, what is the point of this?
At least he
Yeah,
thought it was fun and creative at the time.
yeah, I guess. But yeah, you know, I picked this movie mainly because it seemed like the most because I've heard good things about it, and so I'm like, okay, well, it's definitely believe it or not, it's one of his more recent movies because he doesn't direct very many movies. And I think the last like full length feature movie he did was back in 2006.
Hmm.
He does mainly like shorts and stuff, and then of course he did the revival of Twin Peaks, which I uh, when I was watching this movie, I kind of felt like Homer when he was watching Homer Simpson when he was watching Twin Peaks. Brilliant. I have absolutely no idea what's going on. But I mean, again, like I said, I mean, there are people out there who like David Lynch and they think this movie is a masterpiece, and then there are people like me who are just like, okay, this is just really weird. I mean, I get the basic story of it, but there's just a lot of other stuff in there that I just don't understand. Why is it in there?
There might not even be a reason it's in there besides it sounded fun at the time.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, I mean, if you are a David Lynch connoisseur, you've already probably seen this movie multiple times. If you're not, and you I mean, if you're not interested, you're probably not going to get anything out of it if you're not a David Lynch person.
Well, I suppose there's no way to know if you're a Lynch person or not until you try.
True. Yeah. And I tried, and no, I don't think I can do anymore. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so we go from the ridiculous by accident question mark
Yes.
to the ridiculous on purpose. So the way I ended up seeing this movie was that a friend of mine, we were having a little get together online, and he had actually downloaded this, so we ended up watching it. And
Mhm.
by the time we got to the end of it, I felt so bad for having pirated it that I had to immediately go to the theater the next day to give them money because this was so good.
Ah.
Not to bury the lead, but this is if anything but this gets to be the Oscar animated picture, either
Mhm.
Pinocchio was good or the fix is in.
Yeah.
Okay, so and what's amazing about this is basically Shrek 6.
Mm.
It's Puss in Boots 2. Shrek, for my money, had two good movies, 1 and 2,
Mhm.
and then it just turned into a cash cow that they kept milking.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And you know who about my least favorite character in all of Shrek is and was?
Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots himself. He always felt like this unnecessary bolt on it. Oh, well, it's a sequel, so we got to have another sidekick. But hey, Antonio Banderas, want to be a cat? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So like, I had no interest in seeing the previous movie, and I saw little bits of it. It just seemed weird and bad.
Yeah.
Uh, and so when I saw trailers for this one, I was like, yeah, feh. I mean, the trailer looks artful and interesting, but it's Puss in Boots. How good could it possibly be?
Yeah.
So I don't want to spoil this too much, but the trailer does give this premise away. So the idea is that Puss is on his last of his 9 lives. The opening scene has this cool Attack on Titan inspired, like literally Attack on Titan inspired fight with a giant. And just from like the moment one, it's just cast this spell on you because the animation is so fluid until they get to the
Uh,
action scenes. Then they kind of do the Into the Spider-Verse style herky jerky half frame stuff,
oh, yeah.
but for 90% of the time it works here
Oh.
because they know how to use it. 10% of the time it's like, okay, you could have just animated it normally, um,
Mm.
but it's still like, and when the animation is normal, it's normal. When it's herky jerky, it's an action scene and it works for it. So it's just a visual treat.
Mm.
But anyways, so the first scene is he dies for his 8th time, and then he proceeds to he has an encounter with a bounty hunter who puts the fear in him because he realizes that without his backup lives,
Mhm.
he can't be fearless anymore.
Uh,
And so the plot is him and uh, Kitty Softpaws and Perito here, which if you know Spanish, that's basically doggy is his name. Um, go on a quest to find this MacGuffin that will grant a wish and let him get his lives back. And this movie's got it's got a bunch of interesting things going on. You've got a straightforward villain in the form of the bounty hunter I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
You've got a cartoonish villain with John Mulaney playing Big Jack Horner. If you've seen a meme online of a big CGI character with a little grasshopper on his shoulder saying he's awful, that's what that's from. Because they have some fun with the Jiminy Cricket parody. Because it is still a Shrek movie, even if it's like basically Old Man Puss in Boots, like Old Man Logan. It's still got that Disney parody built in.
Okay.
And then you've got Goldilocks and the Three Bears as a rough and tumble British Cockney crime family. And I almost regret saying that much of it because it does kind of, you kind of lose some of the impact of the initial discovery. So I'm going to stop saying too much more about it.
Okay.
Basically, this movie gets an A for me, not an A plus, because there are like a couple of little moments that, like, okay, you could have been smarter about that one. Although there were two characters. Yeah, it's a Hi Holy Ninja. Yeah, Big Jack Horner is hilarious. The amount of clips involving him are very funny. And John Mulaney voices him and does an excellent job doing it. And I was like, about 3/4 way into the movie, wait, is that John Mulaney?
And he says too, he also saw the first one. It was okay.
Yeah, like this being this good, I didn't think there was a single world where I would say, oh, Shrek 6, Puss in Boots 2, yeah, that deserves the Best Picture Oscar.
Yeah. D. Rhino says he might go see this.
Yeah, I encourage anybody who has an interest in animation to see this. I don't even think you need to see. I don't even think you need to have seen the prior Shrek movies to really get what's going on here.
Okay.
Because there's like only a couple little callbacks to Shrek things.
Okay. And I guess since you said you really didn't see the first Puss in Boots, you don't need to see the first Puss in Boots to see this.
Right. Perito here, new character for the movie. Kitty Softpaws, she's Fujiko Mine to his Lupin.
Okay. There's a funny meme where Steven Universe tried to do the you don't have to be evil shtick to channel.
Ninja, would you mind sharing that? In one of our discords, that would be great. Just because,
yeah.
Because it's there are people who are just evil. What do you know?
Yes.
But like it works so well, and it's a sort of effortless quality where you go, why isn't every movie like this? Because it isn't even like it's anything too complex or crazy.
Yeah.
It's just any animated movie should be able to be this.
Yeah.
But and what's really hilarious is that it cost about half as much to make as Strange World or Lightyear. It has made more than both of them combined. So I think the public is recognizing quality. Oh, Ninja Toe has the meme for me. Let's see if it's. It's a video meme, so we can't really share. Well, okay. You know what? Daniel, I'm going to shoot you the link. We'll watch it as a group.
Okay.
Okay, shooting you the link. It shouldn't get us copyright flagged.
Okay. All right. Let me just do my screen here. Share screen.
That was my phone getting the notification a minute after my PC had gotten it, even though I'd already opened it. So thank you, you, phone.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Make sure the volume. Okay. Here we go.
Imagine an interaction between these two. Okay.
You aren't gonna shoot that gem, are you?
Yeah, in the gem. Why?
Wait, Jack, I know you can
manslaughter.
I don't want to
murder.
Jack, I know there's goodness.
Arson.
Please, just listen.
Animal cruelty.
Listen, You don't have to be the bad guy, Jack.
Another word, and I'm shooting your lion.
You can't just kill a lion.
Yes, I can kill a lion. Watch.
Look at me. This isn't you.
Oh, Steven. It is.
Wow.
Yeah, like that was the Jiminy Cricket. You're awful. You're awful. Oh, yeah. It took you so long. It took you so long, you idiot.
Jesus.
Like he spits in the eye the concept of a sympathetic villain.
Yeah.
But no, it's a great movie. It's just
Yeah.
it is exactly what it sets out to be. My quibbles are quibbly.
Yeah.
So you can. Now the weird thing is, okay, so it cost me 12. And it's actually got really nice legs on it.
Mhm.
It was like its fourth or fifth weekend out, and I was at a theater on a Sunday afternoon, and there were 10 people in there with me, which
Hmm.
is pretty decent for a movie
Yeah.
that's been out there that long. If you want to buy it digitally, you can either buy it for $30, which I think that reflects the fact that it's in theaters right now, so I don't want to eat into that too much. But if you
Right.
want to rent it, it's a mere $24.99.
Ah.
So it's like just spend the extra $5 in case you want to watch it twice, silly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a worthy movie.
Oh, cool. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I will definitely give this a watch.
Yeah, strong recommend. What else is a strong recommend? Box office numbers. So as part of our ongoing efforts to figure out what the public likes and so we can see what we can anticipate more of. Well, we can officially anticipate more Avatar movies because it's past 2 billion this week.
Yeah, so it is officially profitable.
Yep. Puss in Boots has crossed 300 million worldwide, and it's making it's holding on very nicely,
Hmm.
which is good because I thought this thing was a hideous bomb because its first weekend it made like less than 10 million, but that was because it came out in the middle of that Arctic vortex.
Right. Yeah.
So this is still my favorite trend chart on all of the numbers because they were just like going off of that initial data. It looked like it was going to plateau here, and they just boom.
Boom. Yeah.
Now, aside from things we've been talking about, I still think it's going to be funny when in 6 months nobody who actually saw Avatar: The Way of Water can tell you any of the characters' names except for maybe Jake Sully.
JC. Yeah. Yeah. I think what's her name is Zoe Saldana's character is Neytiri. I think.
That sounds rightish.
Yeah.
I saw a thing where like they were saying that she was the first woman to be in 4 movies that grossed more than $2 billion. Or maybe even be the first person to be in more than 4 movies that grossed $2 billion. It's like, okay, Avengers is not on Zoe Saldana.
No. No.
Gamora was a fine character, but
Maybe Infinity War, but yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, hey, I hear you. Yeah, those are ensembles. Yeah.
yes. But as far as other things, the anime movie, That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. They have the weeb title here.
Oh wow.
Keki Joban Tensei Shitara Slime Dataken.
Ha.
Made $1 million over the weekend, which 3 times as much as quintessential quintuplets. So it tells you the relative popularity of it compared to things like Dragon Ball, which made 20 million.
Yeah.
This is a series I don't have any use for because it never has stakes or danger. We all know the ones.
Yeah.
The isekai where it's like, no, what's the plot about? Well, I died and I have superpowers and I have a cool village with a bunch of monsters who are my friends. That isn't a story.
Yeah.
There's girls with big jubblies. Do you romance any of them? No. Is there an intimidating villain? There is an antagonist of a sort who I will curb stomp as soon as I reach him. And I've now saved you the slime isekai experience.
Yes.
Also in there is The Whale with our good friend Brendan Fraser,
Yes.
who's getting a lot of buzz around that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Getting some getting a lot of love that he so sorely deserves.
Yep. So I kept saying that the movie Women Talking opened itself to up to sexist jokes. I guess no one wanted to hear women talking. 5 weekends and 1 million total.
Yeah.
And Babylon is over here tanking.
Oof. Well, you know, when you're the opening scene of your movie is a I don't know if I could say it on YouTube, but
20-minute group love session.
yes, yeah. Yeah, you're probably not going to get a whole lot of people to go see that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And that's about it as far as major releases. Now, Strange World is still in a couple of theaters. Interesting.
Yeah, it's already on Disney Plus, I think.
Yeah, they dumped it on there ages ago, but this is just like the last run theaters.
Yeah.
There's been more shakeup in the top 20 watched at home, which for those at home who haven't or who weren't here, we went over this. This is the combination of Blu-ray, DVD, Redbox rental, and digital purchases.
Mhm.
So Ticket to Paradise has jumped up to #1 after, and it's been out on digital for these types of releases for a long time. So it's
Yeah.
hanging in there. It finally edged out Yellowstone, which Yellowstone is the only TV show I really hear people talking about.
Yeah, same here. It's, I mean, I mean, I think I talked about this last week, but I mean, from what I've heard, it's a good show. I mean, I think my parents watched it for a little while until it went to Paramount Plus, and they
Mm.
enjoyed it. So
Yeah, I heard this was one where they had it on Peacock, and the people at Paramount were like, "Shit, this is a show that people are actually watching. Yank it back, yank it back!"
yeah,
As soon as we're able to.
yeah, yeah,
Because all these streaming companies are kind of incestuous with each other, right? They'll make programs for each other to sell off.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, Black Adam, Top Gun, The Woman King is holding in there.
Yeah.
Elvis has moved up the ranks a bit, probably because it got some Oscar buzz.
Yeah.
The one that kind of surprised me was Till just debuted. I can't tell you how surprised I was to discover that this movie had already come out in October and made about $10 million internationally.
Yeah, I'm be honest, I've never even heard of it.
It's a story of the mom of Edmund Till or Emmett Till,
Emmett, yeah.
who's Emmett was famously lynched for whistling at a white woman, and
Yeah.
it was it kind of was super publicized and brought a lot of attention to a lot of what the fuck that was going on in the South at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to break up the tension here, D Rhino, I need to see more waifus in order to be convinced.
Are we talking about are we talking about Till? I mean, she's pretty cute. It might be bad form to try to pick her up considering her son just got lynched, but if you think you got game, you can give it a shot.
Oh,
is that the darkest joke I've ever told on this show?
I think it is. I think it is.
But I'm not trying to convince anybody to watch Slime Isekai. It is not a fun time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's basically a civil rights movie. The reason I thought it hadn't come out yet was because I kept seeing trailers for it, and I thought, okay, this is one that's going to get a lot of Oscar love because it seems like the type of movie that just does by its nature.
Yeah.
Which I don't think it did.
I don't think
we've
it
got
did.
Tar in here, which,
Yeah.
Fall is still hanging in there. It's actually moving up the charts, which is funny for a direct to, but basically amounts to a direct to DVD movie. Actually, no, wait, no, is that the action movie? Okay, never mind. This is a different movie than I was thinking.
Okay.
There was some like straight to DVD action movie we had seen in here a while back. Everything Everywhere All at Once is in there. It's been there for the whole way along. Because and I have to imagine that the Oscar buzz around this one is helping.
Oh yeah.
Knives Out is still in there. We've talked about that. And then
Yeah.
a bunch of Yellowstone stuff is evening out the bottom here.
Yeah.
So I think that the biggest surprise, and Daniel, you mentioned this before the show, we'll see if Ticket to Paradise rides its way to Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that is definitely a Valentine's Day movie for some people.
Yep. Not me, because I'm not a big Julia Roberts fan. I was always more of a Sandra Bullock fan.
Yeah, yeah. And Ninja Toast says Everything Everywhere All at Once is fantastic. I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard it's really good.
Me too. My only hesitancy about it is I am sick to death of multiverse stories.
Mm-hmm.
So you can blame Marvel. You can just blame me being like. There have been too many things where it's like, hey, you know that thing you love? Yeah, multiverse on top of it.
Yeah.
But I want to know what the story is. All of the stories are the story.
Who are the main characters? They're all the main characters.
Yeah, like, oh, which one's Spider-Man? Well, that little girl is Spider-Man, and that Nicolas Cage is Spider-Man, and
The pig is Spider-Man. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so I'll probably get over myself and watch it at some point. I just haven't been ready yet.
Yeah.
But I think that about covers the popularity charts for the week.
Yes.
But you know who's extremely unpopular right now?
Yeah.
Justin Roiland.
DB, I'm getting canceled.
Daniel. I don't know there, DB. I think that we have a chance at this. No, it's over, Morty. No, we're getting recast. No.
No. Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez, Rick. What are we gonna do? Well, maybe we'll get maybe we'll get recast. I don't know. Actually, okay. So, in all seriousness,
Yeah.
So Justin Roiland, one of the co-creators of Rick and Morty and the voice actor of Rick and Morty, has been charged with felony abuse in Orange County, California.
Yes.
And as a result, Adult Swim has ended its association with him. I think he either resigned or was forced out of his gaming company, Squanchy.
Ooh.
That alien show he makes for Hulu, he's out of.
He's out of that. Yeah. Solar Opposites.
That's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And basically, his creative life is over. He will still be listed as a co-creator in the credits of the show, but he's oot.
Yeah. Ninja Toast says, I hate that sense of humor in writing. Yeah, it's yeah.
I got through 2 seasons and then said, this is just depressing and awful.
Yeah, same here. And then and D-Rhino says, I'm shocked. Not really.
What, you mean that somebody who helped create and voice an awful human being like Rick and Morty, honestly, the longer the series goes on.
Oh, yeah.
Was himself bad? What?
Yeah, and Dan Harmon isn't any better.
Yeah, I forget what Dan's been up to, but I remember it was noteworthy.
Yeah, he did. Well, let's just say he did a bit with a baby doll, and I'm just gonna leave it there.
I remember that now, and I wish I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
So, if this was your favorite comedy, sorry, you'll get used to some new voices.
Yeah, and of course, I think Rick and Morty fans are they're gonna point to this and say, they're like, oh well, there are 2 eras in Rick and Morty: Justin Roiland, Rick and Morty, and then post Justin Roiland, Rick and Morty.
Right, just like how Family Guy enjoyers and Futurama enjoyers go. There was before they were canceled, and after they came back after they were canceled. They're very different beasts.
Yes, and yeah, I part of me, of course, wants to say, he has been charged. He has not been convicted. So, of course, court of law, he's innocent until proven guilty.
Yep.
But at the same time, this is kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, we can't have somebody like this, associated with our show. It's kind of like what we were talking last week with Jeremy Clarkson, although
Mhm.
completely different things going on there. I mean,
Right.
Jeremy
Saying
Clarkson,
mean words is different than
yes,
supposedly beating and trapping somebody.
yeah. And so it's we talked about it, and like I said before, we talked about it last week that we're not the biggest fans of cancel culture,
Mhm.
but it's, to me, it's kind of a nuclear option, and in this case, I mean, it and we said it before, I'm not really at all surprised that this sort of an accusation is being made against Justin Roiland, because like we said, he created a really, really mean, awful character in Rick Sanchez, and it shouldn't surprise anybody that he's probably mean and awful in real life.
Right. It's just that is he just a cantankerous guy who doesn't tip his barista, or is he awful?
Yeah, there are varying degrees of awful.
I'll be very curious to see what they do. Here's the thing: if they hadn't canceled it for the, or if you hadn't been yanked for this reason, like let's say that, oh no, we're being canceled.
Oh, we're being canceled. Canceling. I'm the only person who. I'm the only one who should stand with a team.
Well, then go after Dan Harmon. Go after him first.
Yeah.
But now, the one thought that it did occur to me is that if he had, like, let's say that he had, God forbid, died in a car crash or something, right?
Hmm.
And they had to recast. They would have had some dark fun with it, right? Like, just spitballing, play around with the current race bending in Hollywood and make them both black or something.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, have them be from the blaxploitation universe or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And just end up there. Or like have them, like, hey, why is Morty Morticia all of a sudden? I don't know, guys.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, like just play around with the whole idea and just change the characters in some ways that's clearly visually obvious which
Yeah.
episodes you're in.
Yeah.
But I think that with as serious as this is, they're going to be more straightforward with it, and we'll just be like, it never happened. There isn't a Justin Roiland, and there never was.
Yeah.
Except that he co-created the show, and then he effed off for reasons we won't go into.
Yes. Yeah. D Rhino asks, is this show full of? Yeah.
Well, I couldn't tell you because I stopped. I hit the end of season 2 and said, this is just sad and depressing. I thought this was supposed to be like Futurama, where it was like funny and lighthearted and ridiculous.
Yeah. But it wasn't that way. And hey, Hex, good to see you, man.
Oh, jeez. XL Comics.
Oh, jeez. Hey, X.
And as for the show being full of fetishes now, I couldn't tell you. Although, so fun thing I found out, you know who one of the primary writers of the Pickle Rick episode was?
Who?
Jessica Gao. Guess what Marvel show she made?
She-Hulk.
It rhymes with B-Nulk, attorney at Flaw.
Yeah. I did not know that.
I found out recently watching an Almighty Lowly video. It's like, oh, okay.
Oh god. Well, that explains everything.
Yep. So, we've talked before about how it seems like comedy is kind of on the way out in Hollywood. I wonder if, like, the fact that, like, shows like Rick and Morty are what's acceptable as comedy now is like it's like just absurdist meanness. Wow, we're
Yeah.
getting a lot of people in here. Hey, indie
Oh,
wrestling
yeah.
aces.
Hey, Ace, good to see you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I think we've exhausted this topic here.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Oh, jeez.
Speaking of things that transitions happen,
Yes.
I don't. It's been a long week. I don't know this one. All right.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige doesn't think audiences will ever get tired of superhero movies, wherein his interview contains a nice false equivalency.
Yes. Um, yeah, I think he compares it to like saying, oh, well, that's like saying, uh, you know, with Gone with the Wind, and people are tired of. Yeah, it's said it didn't really understand the question because to me it was akin to saying after Gone with the Wind, well, how many more movies can be made out of novels? Yeah, that's
That isn't a valid comparison, in my
no,
opinion.
no, not even close. Yeah. Hex Allen says, hey, wait a minute, Bros was a comedy, if you say
Yeah,
so.
it was a prank played upon. I think it was Universal's shareholders.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So here's the problem: is that since about the 60s, the American comic book industry has been very largely dominated by the superhero genre.
Hmm.
Someone point out that DC lasted the longest with their war and cowboy stories into the 80s, but really it's been a superhero game for a very long time.
Yeah.
So it's like you're right. Gone with the Wind gets made into a movie. You can make noir novels and romance novels and action novels and war novels.
Sci-fi novels, fantasy novels. Yeah.
Yep. On the other hand, Gone with the Wind would be like if for 10 years every major tentpole movie that came out was a plantation story set during the Civil War.
Yeah.
And maybe it's like, oh, well, this one has a redheaded woman, and this one it's about a guy, and this one, uh, it's about a guy who thinks his raccoon can talk to him, and he calls him Rocket because he got shot in the head during the Battle of Gettysburg. But
It could work. Yeah.
yeah, I'm almost making the case against myself. But in all
Yeah.
seriousness, superheroes are especially Marvel superheroes, are such a limited genre that
Hmm.
no, Mr. Feig, I think that we are going to hit superhero fatigue at some point.
Yeah. If we aren't there already, I mean, well, I mean, just look at the Phase 4. I mean, look at all the movies that came out in there. Now, some of the earlier ones, didn't make as much money because of the unknown the unspecified virus of unknown origin, as as
Yes,
drinker would say.
yes,
Um, but I mean, most of them have just been you know either underperformed or just flat out lost money. I mean, and they weren't very good. And
no.
the
So
quality really dipped. I mean, Black Widow wasn't very good. Um,
no.
Shang-Chi was okay.
Oh my God,
Uh,
Shang-Chi might be the best Phase 4 Marvel movie. I refused to go see Black Panther because it had neither Black Panther nor a proper Namor.
right. Yeah, same here. And I mean, well, I mean, there was Spider-Man No Way Home, but that was mostly Sony.
Right.
And but yeah, but no, you're probably right. I think Shang-Chi was probably the best Phase 4 movie because the other ones, like the ones that I saw, were horrible. I mean, Doctor Strange 2 was terrible.
Mhm.
Eternals was just bleh.
You forced yourself to watch it. Your boy
Yeah.
Zach did a community post a while back where he was considering watching it because it felt weird to not watch that one movie, and then he looked at the screenshots from it, and he's like, "This looks like a bunch of extras milling around. No, thank you. Life is short."
That's basically what it was. Yeah, it was just very bland, very boring movie. And Ninja Toast says they can alleviate the superhero fatigue by making the superhero element the setting, not the genre. And the films lean into the genre they use as crutches. Yeah, I mean, like Captain America: The Winter Soldier was almost a spy. It was like a spy thriller.
Yeah. And they tried, it feels like they made a half-hearted effort to make some of the Phase 4 things different. Because, like, let's run through it. So we've got our spy movie, Black Widow.
Right.
We've got our Asian-themed kung fu action movie, Shang-Chi,
Right.
with some fantasy elements. We've got our in theory, we've got our weighty, big cast space fantasy movie, Eternals. We're going to leave Spider-Man out of this analysis.
Right. Yeah.
We've got a follow-up to Black Panther that looks back and honors its fallen actor who everybody loved.
Yeah.
We've got the follow-up to the successful Thor Ragnarok. We've got TV shows. We've got a tween Disney-ified superheroine in the form of Ms. Marvel. I forgot Doctor Strange. We've got the follow-up to the well-beloved Doctor Strange with its trippy visuals and cosmic magical consequences.
Yes.
We've got Loki on his own for the first time. We've got Wanda in a trippy television parody themed TV show. We've got the new Captain America striking out on his own. And we've got a Ally McBeal style legal comedy drama in the form of She-Hulk. In theory, these are all very different shows that should have been able to appeal to different audiences.
Yeah. But they didn't.
No, because they basically made the same thing. They hired somebody who worked on the worst episode of Rick and Morty to be the showrunner, because why not?
Yeah.
In the case of She-Hulk, God, learning that made me even sadder.
Yeah. I pickle Rick.
Oh, God. So I think that the thing is that and also all of those came out between 2022 and 2020 and 2022. That's like two, three. Oh, I forgot Moon Knight. There's so many of them.
And Hawkeye.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot two of them.
Yeah.
And, like, in theory, those are very different shows that should play very differently.
Yeah.
I think that probably the best thing they could have done was like take more of a break. And but just they wasted so much good source material, Daniel.
Yes.
So much, everyone likes to crap on Dan Slott. I like Dan Slott more than I don't. If I look back at my history of reading comics, he's a man meme at this point. But he did some, like, given what he was given with the starting point of Spider-Man with One More Day, I think he made as good a go of it as you could have. And his She-Hulk is the second best She-Hulk run after John Byrne. Mind you, there isn't a whole lot of competition for that weighty crown in the balance, but still, it's impressive when the only person better than you is John Byrne.
Yeah.
The man, the legend.
Yeah, I mean, he and Mark Waid, they had their time, and then they just and then they lost their minds and
blame Twitter.
Dan Slott has me blocked on Twitter.
Oh, did he? Probably because you follow Ethan or something.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, he's running a blockchain on somebody.
Yeah. But back on this topic, I think that so let's be fair here.
Okay.
If you sell Coca-Cola and you know from marketing that sales of regular Coca-Cola are down 3% since last year, are you going to go out there and be like, if you're the marketing guy, are you going to go out there and be like, yeah, Coke sales are down. Maybe we've hit peak Coke. Maybe we need to I don't know, maybe we need to throw more marketing effort to Sprite or Diet Coke. Are you going to go out there and say, no, people aren't tired of Coke. We just need to, could come up with new ways to present Coke.
Yeah.
So
Put it in a flashy can, or
yeah, uh, new bottle shapes to draw interest. That type of thing.
yeah, yeah.
So, of course, he's going to be talking it up, and I think he has a point in that. In theory, the Marvel movies could be different enough from each other.
hmm
Just that ever since Guardians of the Galaxy 1, they've been Disneyfied.
Yeah, yeah, and they keep putting in just they keep having to throw humor in there, and the early Marvel movies had humor in them, but they were
Mhm.
it was used sparingly, and
Uh,
you know,
like think about Thor, where you could have Shakespearean drama mixed in with him getting hit by a car
yeah,
and Kat Dennings mispronouncing the hammer's name.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, or like the scene in Captain America: The First Avenger, when he's about to jump on the Red Skull's plane, and then he kisses what's her name, Peggy Carter, and
Mhm.
then he looks over at Tommy Lee Jones and he says, "I'm not kissing you."
Oh, we forgot. We for Peggy Carter. That reminds me. We forgot What If. There's too many things to even keep track of.
Yeah, yeah, and that's where the fatigue comes in, is you got too much stuff. Like, part of the reason I really checked out of Phase 4 is because there's just too much to watch. I only have, I mean, I've talked about this before, but when you put out like 2 or 3 movies a year, it's like,
Mhm.
okay, I will go along with you and go see this superhero movie to understand what's going on in this superhero movie that's completely unrelated to that superhero, in order to know, what's going on later on.
Maybe I don't like the look of this Doctor Strange guy. Maybe I wait for it to come out on Netflix.
Right. But then you throw in TV shows into the
Mhm.
mix that are, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 episodes a season. And each episode's probably clocking in around 40-ish minutes. I don't have time to watch through all these shows, especially when they're not very well done and not very well written.
Right. Part of the reason that comic books got away with it for so long is that comic books came out once a month with about 20 pages. So like,
Yeah.
you could follow 20 comic books a month, picking up 4 or 5 every week,
hmm
and it would take you probably an hour to get through them every week, and then you'd get like your little pieces of all these stories.
Right. Yeah.
TV shows are different,
Yeah.
but the- yeah, I think we're on the record as we think that superhero fatigue is real. The
hmm
fact that Avatar has made twice as much, or excuse me, has made more than Black Panther and Thor combined.
hmm
I think that's a good sign. Like
Yeah.
that, I've talked about how my prediction about Avatar was way off for its box office. Well, the reason it was so off is because I was too used to analyzing Marvel movies where they died after the first weekend. Where
Yeah.
basically everybody who wanted to go see it goes and sees it in the first weekend, so they don't get spoiled.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, and a lot of them don't have repeat viewing value, and
Right.
that's yeah.
You watch it once, you know the next part. Okay, next episode.
hmm Yeah, I think I think Kevin Feige is saying this for one of two reasons. He's in denial, or he's saying this because he wants people to keep seeing Marvel and keep consuming Marvel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Either way, I think that we haven't seen the death of the superhero movie just yet, though it might be coming faster than we think. Because,
Yeah.
like, do you know anybody who's actually excited about Shazam 2?
I don't. Yeah, and Ninjato makes a good point. Manga does it weekly with a variety of page counts. It's all about the quality and the segmentation of stories. Comics had been interconnected for far too long. Yeah,
Yeah, I think the interconnected can be a feature rather than a bug, but it's definitely a bug at times.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, Yeah, superhero movies I think are slowly, kind of fading out, so to speak.
But I think it's going to kind of catch up with us, catch up with it all at once, like cowboy movies did, where it'll decline slowly at first, then all at once.
Yep.
And then in like maybe 10 years or so, it'll be like, oh, yeah, they came out with a superhero movie. That's kind of unique. The same way that we talk about Westerns now.
Yeah. Yeah, there might be a God, what was that movie? Heaven's Gate, I think was what it was called. There's this Western movie that came out like in the early '80s. It was
Mhm.
this horribly expensive movie, and it was just a complete total boondoggle, and it just killed the Western genre.
And United Artists and
Yeah.
a couple of horses. Yeah, you know those things in movies that say no animals were harmed in the creation of this movie?
Hmm.
Heaven's Gate, they actually dynamited a couple of real horses.
Yeah. 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 Not good.
No.
But yeah, hopefully nothing like that will happen with superhero movies.
Yes, no, the horsies don't deserve it.
No. No.
Speaking of things that aren't deserved or are deserved, depending. Now let's talk a little bit about the Oscar nominations. Those came out this week.
Yes. And I watched a little bit of the not Film Threat did their live stream of the nomination show, and I watched a little bit of that.
Mhm.
I will be honest, like looking at some of the names on here, like I mean I don't know. Okay, so Austin Butler, that's okay. Elvis. Okay, the movie Colin Farrell is nominated for. Never heard of it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's literally about banshees or if it's some sort of metaphorical title.
Yeah. Um, Brendan Fraser, The Whale. I know about that one. People have been talking about that for a long time. He could very well win that.
Yeah, and it feels like the buzz is around him.
Yeah. I don't know who that is. Paul Mescal. I don't know who that. Bill Nighy. I know Bill Nighy is, but I don't know the movie he's in.
So you're a supporting actor.
I don't know. Oh, Judd Hirsch is the only one name I recognize.
I keep hearing about this, but I think it's the reason.
Oh, Fablemans. Okay.
I don't know what that's about. It's one of those things where Fableman is kind of a fun word to say, so it's
That's
sticks with me.
that is Steven Spielberg. That's
Oh,
his.
okay,
It's a semi-autobiographical movie about his childhood.
okay. Yeah, we're getting a nod here for Everything Everywhere All at Once, but
Yeah.
that's all I really have an opinion on.
Yeah.
Just from everyone keeps telling me it's good, including the Holy Ninja.
Yeah.
Here. Actress in a leading role, Kate Blanchett. The only thing I know about that one is that was the one that was making the rounds as, look, here's this character saying these conservative things, but the character is actually the villain in the movie.
Yeah.
Which might have been like a failed viral marketing attempt when the movie was in theaters to try to, hey, go own the libs and watch this movie.
Yeah.
She's saying the things that you think.
Mhm.
Judging by the box office, that did not work.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
And
Michelle Yeoh. Everything,
that's
everywhere, all at once.
it's a weird year. Like that's the movie that really dominated the awards because we've got two actresses. I didn't know that Jamie Lee Curtis was in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Interesting.
I didn't know that either. Wow.
Okay, here's another one for The Whale.
Angela Bassett for Black Panther. That one's that one's
I heard that
interesting.
she acted her heart out in that movie, as bad as
Mm.
it was, so she might actually deserve it.
Yeah.
But
Okay, here we go. Animated
here's where I have an
movies.
opinion:
Yeah.
Puss in Boots, or it's The Fix Is In.
Yeah. Yeah. Because Turning Red is the Disney Pixar one.
Yeah, of all the movies they picked that one. I was actually kind of expecting them to try to redeem the Strange World with that one.
Yeah. Well, you knew they weren't going to put up Lightyear.
No. Like, okay, which one didn't actually go to theater so it wasn't embarrassing in the box office?
Yeah.
Yeah, if Turning, I tried to watch Turning Red. Turning Red is like CalArts noise.
Oh.
I could not get more. I could not get past the initial character introductions because every character came out as like they were dancing and singing in this obnoxious way. Like they're like, okay, you're just trying to appeal to the TikTok generation, aren't you?
Yeah.
Aren't you?
Yeah. uh,
Like I care about this one.
yeah.
And now a friend of mine said, "DB, aren't you like of the opinion that the Oscars are corrupt and useless?" I was like, "Well, yeah, but yeah, the people who made the movie don't think that."
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
Like they would be Joel Crawford and Mark Swift would be extremely happy to get a Best Animated Picture for a deserving movie.
yeah. Yeah. And then of course you got Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio,
That
which
seems like it could be
yeah,
competition.
yeah.
Marcel the Shell with Shoes On is one of those. Like I heard it's good, but it's also it's like it's quirky enough. It's got enough live action to it that maybe people like at the Oscar committee or the Oscar voters who really don't like animation might choose it just because it has the least animation.
Yeah.
Sea Beast, I don't
See,
know
I don't know
nothing.
anything about that. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
cinematography. Yeah. I
Elvis
will
is a
say.
big.
I will say all the technical awards. I know a lot of people don't pay attention to those, but for the people who are nominated in these categories, it actually does mean a lot to them because people don't really know who they are, and
Yep.
nobody and a lot of times they don't get a whole lot of recognition for their work, and so
Mhm.
for them for them it's a big deal. I mean, I kind of they're kind of like the blue collar workers in Hollywood,
Right. Yeah. They're the ones who you only really hear anything about it when you screw up.
Yeah,
Like, Babylon probably does deserve something for costume design, even if it's a bad movie, because all those period piece costumes
hmm,
can't be easy to do.
yeah.
Black Panther Wakanda Forever, you lose just because of your Namor. Sorry.
Yeah. Elvis, I mean, that's another period movie,
Mhm.
1950s.
Mrs. Harry Goes to Paris. I know it's Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, but My Way
Yeah,
is more
yeah.
fun, and whimsical.
Yes.
All right,
uh,
directors.
so you got whatever the Banshees movie, and then Everything Everywhere All at Once.
So I guess interesting how two Daniels directed Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah,
So so just based on my uninformed gut, I kind of feel like Everything Everywhere All at Once has a really good chance of winning just from to be cynical at diversity angle.
yeah.
But The
Well,
Fablemans could win because Steven Spielberg, who knows how much longer he's going to be with us.
yeah. I actually my prediction is that they're going to give it to Spielberg because of for that reason. Yeah,
Right. Like, there's been plenty of actors who kept getting stiffed in the awards, and they eventually award them for a lesser role as kind of a look, man, we're sorry. The voting
yeah,
just never went your way, even though everyone knew you deserved it the last couple of go arounds. Here
yeah,
you go. This
yeah,
wasn't even my good movie. I said, here you go.
yeah. Yeah. I still don't know why Denzel Washington won for Training Day. He'd been in plenty of really great. He'd had plenty of great roles before that and never won for him.
Yeah, like Marissa Tomei winning for the supporting actress
My
for
cousin Vinny.
which that was a good role, but I was like,
Yeah.
really? Like she went on like people made fun of her for going to do nothing. That's a memorable role. Come on. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. Mona Lisa Vito. Yeah.
yeah. Documentary feature film, no opinion.
Yeah. I haven't seen any of those.
A
Documentary
House Made of
short.
Splinters. That's at least sounds like a fun title.
Documentary short. Don't know anything about any of those. Film editing. I will say editing is a very important job.
Yep.
Top Gun Maverick. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
International feature film. I keep hearing good things about All Quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah. I have too. Yeah, it's on Netflix. I didn't see the original one, but I saw the version. I think I want to say it was a made for TV version, like that came
Mhm.
out like in the 80s, which was okay. So I'm somewhat interested in this version of it. Musical score, yeah.
Yeah, John Williams and the
John
Fablemans.
Williams. Yeah.
Oh, probably a better swan song than the next indie movie.
Oh yeah. Or the last Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Music, original song. I didn't hear anything about. Oh,
Lady.
something from RRR.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, and then of course Lady Gaga for
Oh yeah, she did do one for that.
Top Gun Maverick.
But, okay, so we're finally.
Okay.
So I was wondering, like, did we skip by Best Picture? Like, no, they know what people actually care about, so they put that at the bottom.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they want you to see. They want you to scroll through all of them. Okay, so
Women Talking got one.
uh-huh.
That's a lot of. That's a lot of competition.
Yeah. So we got All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar, the Banshees of Whatever, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Fablemans, Tar, Top Gun Maverick, which is a little surprising. Triangle of Sadness, I don't know anything about that. And then Women Talking.
So someone pointed out that this is because so few movies were actually released last year, that movies that wouldn't normally get the nod are kind of getting the nod. There's a lot of indie stuff in here. Top Gun Maverick would normally be too, how to put it, it's too mainstream for an Oscar most years.
Yeah.
Same thing with Avatar.
Avatar, I can kind of understand.
I guess I can understand it winning technical awards, but just for everything I heard about the story and the acting, it's
Yeah.
But Top Gun Maverick in there and Avatar getting in there, that almost feels like, I heard someone say this is a cynical ploy to try to bring up ratings by making it so that people or movies that people actually saw are in the running.
Yeah. Well, you know what's interesting? The Film Threat live stream that I watched, they had a guy on there. I don't know who he was. He sounded like a industry insider guy, but he said, don't count Top Gun Maverick out. I mean, he seems to believe that it does have a chance to win. He said he didn't say it was going to win. He said, but it has a better chance than most people probably think.
Okay.
Oh, take that for what you will.
Yeah, my gut says it isn't going to be Avatar, which based on my gut's track record, it's going to be Avatar. I think that for a serious answer, Everything Everywhere All at Once and All Quiet have a real shot at it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because those are more serious movies, but Everything Everywhere All at Once has sort of the fantasy sci-fi element that could either sink it or help it depending on the mood of the voters.
Yeah.
Everything Everywhere All at Once and Women Talking and Tar have a bit more chance just because, well, actually, interestingly enough, I saw a hashtag going around, hashtag Oscars so male. I think it's because a lot of the things that got in the nominations were written and directed by men. So Women Talking or Tar could get the guilt vote.
Yeah. Yeah, I would not be at all surprised if Women Talking doesn't win.
Yeah. Now, Fablemans also has a real shot for the how many more times are we going to get to give Steven Spielberg an award thing, though. It seems more likely that they would give him the director nod since director.
Yeah.
Although was he end up here under director? No, that's right. We haven't hit director yet.
Yeah. We looked at director. Yeah, he's in there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, clearly that's a lack of sleep and rest this week catching up with me. But yeah, I think I don't think that Top Gun is going to get it just because it seems too mainstream and fun for that.
Yeah.
I think if I had to pick one that's like the best mix of traits that they might go for. My predictions are always so accurate, so I want to make sure that
yeah.
I'm going to bet Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Okay. Well, I think I'll be honest. I'm gonna say Women Talking.
Okay, so we'll
Mm.
see where we are in a few weeks.
Yeah, yeah,
Then as far as production design,
yeah,
I could see Avatar winning something like that.
yeah. I could too. Yeah,
Short
uh,
film,
animated
animated,
short,
don't have an
short
opinion.
film.
My Year of Dicks.
Sound. The
I,
Batman. Huh.
okay, yeah, I can see that. That
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, uh, All Quiet on the Western Front winning for sound is ironic.
Yeah.
Top Gun Maverick was also really up there. Yeah,
Mm.
that's a big part of it.
Oh yeah. Visual
Avatar
effects.
is going to win
Oh yeah.
visual effects, if only because its blue underwater people are better than the Black Panther's
Black
blue
Panther.
underwater people.
Oh god. How would Black Panther like? I've seen the visual effects on Black Panther. They're god awful.
Writing adapted screenplay, it's going to be Glass Onion because Hollywood is full of stupid people.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna say Sarah Polley for Women Talking.
Okay, maybe that's it. Maybe Women Talking gets the writing adapted screenplay, and Top Gun gets the or Everything Everywhere All at Once gets the best picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think isn't writing usually the consolation prize for the one that's really the best picture?
I think so. Yeah.
Original screenplay,
I'm gonna say Fablemans.
Fablemans, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Or Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yeah.
I guess it depends on maybe like somebody who doesn't vote for Fablemans for director or best picture feels guilty and throws them a writing bone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think my biggest surprise on this list is how often Top Gun Maverick came up for non-technical things.
Yeah.
Although I find it interesting that Top Gun Maverick got in there, but Tom Cruise didn't get a actor nod,
Yeah.
considering
I
he basically is that movie.
yeah, yeah. Well, he is one of the producers on the movie, so if
Mm.
if it wins Best Picture, he'll get that. But
He'll be up there accepting it.
yes,
Maybe they'll bring out the couch from that Oprah interview. Hey,
oh man,
an old friend is here to see you.
old friend oh man, but yeah, I mean it you know it would be interesting to I mean I'm not gonna watch the Oscars. I'll be honest, unless somebody slaps somebody again.
Yeah,
um,
I think that's the thing is that that they're going to have some sort of security up there. They're going to have to church it up because man,
mhm.
Will Smith ruined winning his award.
Oh yeah, he
So
did.
completely.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just to take a quick look through last year's best pictures, 'cause I feel like it's a very different crowd.
Oh yeah.
Let's see here. That's right. Will Smith did win.
Javier Bardem.
Denzel Washington was also up there the same year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Encanto. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, Encanto much better than Luca. And Disney had 3 last year. They have 1 this year.
Yeah. Not even bad year for Disney.
Yep. Dune. I think the big difference is that this year there were some legitimate movies that a lot of people actually went out and saw.
Yeah.
Like as much as we can talk about Black Panther underperforming, still a few million people went out to go see it. So
yeah, it's true. Yeah. And I think the first movie was nominated for Best Picture when it came out.
very possible.
Yeah. But
yeah, it's still sort of a flawed award show, but I kind of want, but again, it's like, how to put it? It's like when you're a parent and you take your kid to the fair and they really want to win that stupid bear on the wall at the dart game.
yeah.
You don't care about the bear. You know objectively that bear is going to fall apart.
Yeah.
And that you can get them a better bear for as much as it'll cost them to get 5 throws of the darts.
Mm-hmm.
But dang it, that child really wants that bear and it will make them so happy. So in this case, the Oscars are the bear. So let the child have their bear.
Yeah. And I it's the Oscars. I mean, it's definitely it's a popularity contest,
Mhm.
and it's the and Chris Gore pointed this out. That when they get up there and they're giving the speeches, they're not talking to the people necessarily talking to the people at home. They're talking to the people in the audience because
Mhm.
it's for them, and and mainly the big reason why people watch the Oscars is just to see the dresses that the women are wearing, and
Yep.
you're like, oh, who are you wearing? I'm wearing Vera Wang. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. But yeah, I mean it's every now and then, but it's nice when a movie that maybe there might be a movie that you saw that you really like and it gets a nomination somewhere. You're like, oh, I really hope it wins. It
Yep.
gets some recognition. I mean, I will say, Gladiator is probably my favorite movie of all time, and I'm very happy that that movie won Best Picture. I'm glad Russell Crowe got Best Actor. I think Ridley Scott should have won Best Director, but that's neither here nor there. But I mean,
You basically like to get a little bit of validation about things you enjoy. That
yes.
you're not just off there by yourself, wondering why nobody else likes, I don't know, pickle pizza. Like you eventually start thinking, am I the weird one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But I think on that note, I think we've said all we have to say on the Oscars.
yes, I think so too. But yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. We had quite a few people coming in and
Yeah,
join us
good
tonight.
crowd tonight.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you all. We appreciate it. Just to reiterate, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the
Mhm.
bell, and if you're watching it on replay, leave a comment down below. That always helps.
We do like to hear from you.
Yes, yes. And we will see you next week. Good night, everybody.
Yep. Good night.